Man, this is big diamond. Look at crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is big money. This is what we call.
You go back wall. Good.
Did you know I make $30,000 diamonds Kodak mask for
Kodak Black had everybody buzzing after reports dropped saying he went off inside Johnny Dang's store over claims about questionable jewelry quality. This didn't just come out of nowhere. The tension had been building for a while, but nobody saw it blowing up like this. Now clips are everywhere, both sides speaking out, and the pressure is getting real heavy. So how did it even get here? Let's break it down. The Kodak and Johnny connection runs deep. Johnny Dang isn't just a jeweler, he's that jeweler. When you start talking about the biggest chains, craziest grills, and the flashiest custom pieces shining on a rapper's neck, wrist, or smile, his name keeps popping up. His shop, Johnny Dang & Co., became the go-to spot for artists with serious money and something to prove. For over 25 years, he's been operating on a level most can't even reach, staying locked in as one of the top names in hip-hop jewelry. That link between Johnny Dang and the rap world didn't happen by accident. It came from years of grinding and building real trust. He went from a Vietnamese immigrant landing in Houston with nothing to becoming one of the most recognized jewelers in hip-hop culture. His client list? Stacked.
I got robbed in my store in Galleria. That's one of the reasons I moved out of the mall. You know, it's a big case. The people who robbed my shop, very professional.
We're talking major rap names seen in music videos, red carpets, magazine covers, and even some of the most viral moments online. He didn't reach that level by luck, he earned it. The quality stayed solid, the craftsmanship stayed sharp, and the relationships he built with clients went way beyond just transactions. Kodak Black is one of those clients. Their history goes back years, and it's the kind of partnership that created some unforgettable pieces. One of the biggest moments came during the COVID era when Johnny Dang made Kodak a custom diamond mask. Not something basic, not something light. This piece was fully covered in over 30 carats of VVS diamonds. Johnny Dang even explained how it came together and shared where the idea first started. That shows the level of trust, access, and creative energy they had while working together. This wasn't just business, it felt like real collaboration, and that mask was just the beginning. They kept working together after that, with Kodak returning again and again for new pieces. Then in late 2025, Kodak picked up a $50,000 permanent multicolored diamond grill from Dang.
$30,000 diamonds Kodak mask for Kodak Black. When Kodak Black just got out of jail, he called me for the grill right at the Kodak.
The piece was wild, detailed, and completely over the top in design. It instantly started trending the moment people saw it online. Later on Instagram Live, Kodak showed it off and even took it out, not because he felt scammed, not because there was any issue like that. He basically said people need to upgrade their taste. He made it clear he was leaning towards simpler, cleaner gold pieces instead. He even joked about it, calling Johnny Dang the king of bling, and kept it moving with no tension at all. Then in May 2025, Johnny Dang flew out to Miami himself to link up with Kodak and deliver a fresh set of custom grills. These became known as the Skittles grills, packed with multicolored stones and crazy detail. Complex even highlighted it as one of the standout jewelry moments of that month. They linked, talked, laughed, and the whole moment got celebrated across the culture. That's where things stood between Kodak Black and Johnny Dang going into 2026. No issues, no accusations, no drama building, just one of the longest-running artist-jeweler relationships in hip-hop, moving like it always had. Damn.
Man, this is big diamond. Look at crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. This is big money. This is what we call.
Then things started shifting when Sauce Walka decided to speak out. The footage of Kodak and Johnny Dang together in the shop shows exactly what their energy was like. When Kodak walked in, the vibe felt relaxed, confident, and natural. The kind you only get when there's real history. Kodak was talking about events, the community, and new pieces he had coming. At one point, he and Johnny were going back and forth about diamonds in a way only big spenders can relate to. Then, just moments later, things took a turn. That clip of them laughing about GIA-certified diamonds, honeymoons, and how crazy that shine looks on someone's teeth says everything. It shows exactly what Kodak Black and Johnny Dang really were before the noise started creeping in. They weren't two people secretly clashing behind the scenes. This wasn't some hidden issue waiting to explode. They weren't just doing business with tension either. They were real collaborators. Over the years, they built a genuine connection through high-level deals and consistent work. That's the foundation this entire story sits on, and that's exactly why what happened in 2026 caught so many people off guard.
I got the idea, right? Hey, Kodak, let me make you the very first diamond mask. It's over 30 karat diamond, all VVS, thousands of
It felt
diamonds.
completely disconnected from everything they had built. Then, Sauce Walka stepped in, and that's when everything started shifting. To understand why the internet reacted the way it did in spring 2026, you have to go back to March 17th. You also need to understand who Sauce Walka is, what he represents in Houston, and why his words carried enough weight to raise serious questions around a 25-year legacy in just days. Sauce Walka isn't just another rapper. Him being from Houston matters a lot here. The city moves different. It has its own code, its own culture, and unspoken rules about loyalty, money, and how you treat people who were around before the fame. In that environment, Johnny Dang wasn't just a jeweler in the city. He was a staple in Houston's music scene, the go-to name for jewelry in that space. The connection between Johnny Dang and Houston artists was seen as solid and unquestioned. It was built on decades of business, major spending, and a level of loyalty that Sauce Walka clearly believed should go both ways. On March 17, 2026, Sauce Walka jumped on Instagram Live and shook everything
You
up.
need only one GIA diamond to get married.
Yeah,
He got a whole mouth with GIA certified.
He went public right there, saying he was ending a 20-year relationship with Johnny Dang. And he didn't keep it vague. He broke it down step by step in a way that had everyone locked in. According to Sauce Walka, he believed Johnny Dang's team had been selling lab-grown CBD diamonds, stones created in controlled environments, while charging prices usually tied to natural VVS diamonds, which carry higher value and rarity. This isn't a small detail at that level. Natural diamonds form over long periods deep within the earth, while lab-grown diamonds are made much faster using advanced tech. Even though they can look identical, the pricing and market value can be very different, which is why transparency matters in high-end jewelry deals. Sauce Walka made it clear he felt this wasn't being properly explained to buyers. He framed it as a serious issue of trust and transparency, which instantly sparked debates across social media. This big diamond, my man y'all gotta come out and prowl, but he didn't stop there. He also claimed Johnny Dang's business treated high-profile celebrities differently. According to him, certain big names were getting special deals or promo pieces, while longtime local clients, people who had supported the brand for years, weren't getting that same treatment. And according to him, what he received didn't match what he asked for. He wanted the biggest, boldest, most over-the-top grill possible, but felt like Johnny Dang's team wasn't fully delivering his vision. He said it straight up, "Johnny Donnet did nothing better than what I got in my mind." He made it clear he wanted something next level, something that really stood out. "I want some of my money, and I want to go over the top," he added. So he moved on, and he didn't do it quietly. Sauce Walka took his business elsewhere, linking up with a jeweler known as Plug. He reportedly commissioned a new grill valued at over $1 million. Then he removed his old Johnny Dang pieces on camera. "Yeah, I'm going to take these to the side of me," making the moment feel intentional and very public. Plug also spoke on the situation, backing up those concerns. He suggested that marking up lab-grown stones while presenting them in a way that could be misunderstood wasn't just a one-time thing, but something he believed was happening more broadly. That was all the internet needed to go into overdrive. The idea that one of the biggest jewelers in hip-hop might be involved in something like this had people talking non-stop. Comment sections lit up instantly, group chats were going crazy. Even YouTube channels that never covered jewelry started dropping videos about it. People began questioning everything. What this could mean for Johnny Dang's business, for his long list of celebrity clients, and for the reputation he built over decades. The conversation spread fast, and it wasn't slowing down anytime soon. The original claims alone were never going to create this level of chaos. What Sauce Walka really did was open the door, and once it cracked, the internet didn't just step in, it rushed in and started building a whole new story on the other side. And that version barely matched what Sauce actually said. In the days after his statements, social media got flooded with videos pushing way more extreme claims. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, every platform had people posting their own version, and each one got more intense than the last. Some videos claimed Johnny Dang's Houston store had been raided. Others said multiple rappers filed complaints. There were even posts suggesting arrests and full investigations. The headlines were crafted to feel urgent, dramatic, and believable, designed to hit fast and make people react without thinking twice. And that's when things really started spiraling. Because once that kind of narrative spreads, it pulls more names into it, including Kodak Black. Once those stories took off, his name got dragged right into the middle, whether it matched reality or not. Old footage of Kodak Black and Johnny Dang started getting reused out of context to fit the storyline. That clip of Kodak taking out his $50,000 grill on Instagram Live back in late 2024, the one where he was laughing and saying it was too flashy and that he wanted simple gold, suddenly started showing up in 2026 videos like it was recent. And the way those videos were edited was wild. If you listen closely, some even quietly admit the truth, but bury it under so much dramatic storytelling that most people miss it.
One video even clearly says Kodak never claimed the grill was fake, not once. It also points out that in 2026, Kodak Black didn't say anything about the situation. No posts, no statements, no appearances, no direct involvement at all. But still, his name got tied in. The connection? Just that both him and Sauce Walka had at different times bought jewelry from the same place. That's it. Still, the online narrative kept growing fast. What started as Sauce Walka sharing personal concerns turned into something way bigger online. And somehow, an unrelated Kodak Black moment got twisted into something it never was. The momentum behind it was moving full speed with no slowdown. And through all of it, Johnny Dang, the man at the center of everything, still hadn't made a public statement. While all this noise was spreading online, people started waiting for one thing: Johnny Dang's response. Because at this point, the conversation had moved way past Sauce Walka's original claims. It had turned into a full-blown online storm, with different versions of the story flying everywhere. And when your name is tied to something that big, staying silent only makes people talk more. The pressure was building from every angle. Fans wanted answers, clients started asking questions, even people who never followed jewelry like that were now locked into the situation. But here's where it gets interesting. In moments like this, timing is everything. Speak too fast, you risk making it worse. Wait too long, and the narrative runs wild. And right now, the narrative was moving faster than the facts. At the same time, there were still no confirmed reports backing up the most extreme claims online. No verified investigations, no official announcements, nothing solid behind those viral headlines. Yet the conversation kept growing, leaving everything in a strange space where speculation was leading and facts were trying to catch up. So now, the focus shifted completely. It wasn't just about what Sauce Walka said anymore. It wasn't about old Kodak clips either. All eyes were now on Johnny Dang, waiting to see if he'd step in, clear things up, or let everything keep playing out on its own. Johnny Dang finally responded, and he came with his side of the story. This isn't someone who reacts off emotion. A man who built a $200 million jewelry empire from scratch, spent over 25 years handling relationships, money, and the ups and downs of the hip-hop world without burning major bridges. That type of person doesn't jump online in the heat of the moment. He moves with strategy. He's not going live late at night saying things he might regret later. He takes his time, puts his response together carefully, and speaks when he's ready. And when he does speak, it carries weight. On April 1st, 2026, Johnny Dang dropped an official video across TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and the response even got picked up by local outlets like Fox 26 Houston. And the tone of that video stood out immediately. It wasn't chaotic, it wasn't emotional, it was calm, clear, and straight to the point. the kind of response that sounds like someone who fully understands what's going on behind the scenes. He started by addressing the claims about authorities and investigations. He didn't hold back. He said the stories spreading online were false and included edited or AI-altered content being pushed across social media. Then he went deeper. He described the situation as a wave of misinformation spreading online. He suggested that some of it was being pushed by people trying to damage his reputation, while others were sharing it without checking the facts. He didn't call out specific names, but made it clear he believed the narrative was being driven by negativity and outside noise. And he pointed out something important. A lot of people spreading these stories either didn't look into the details or chose to ignore key facts before reposting and reacting. This wasn't the first time someone tried to take shots at what he built over 25 years in the hip-hop jewelry world. There had been other moments, other rumors, other claims that popped up and faded without causing real damage. And the reason was simple. His business stood on something solid, real relationships with real clients who actually saw the work up close, who knew exactly what they were getting, and who kept coming back.
That kind of foundation doesn't just collapse overnight. His attorney even brought up the possibility of legal action against those responsible for the most extreme false claims. That alone showed how serious things were getting. But then Johnny said something that really stood out. He talked about seeing customers who still believed the online stories even after everything. And the way he explained it wasn't loud or emotional, no shouting, no anger, just a calm, almost disappointed reaction from someone who spent decades putting in real work, now watching people trust viral posts over years of proven history. And that part hit different, because it showed the human side of it all. Not just business, not just reputation, but how fast public opinion can shift when information spreads quickly. And through all of this, Johnny Dang was very clear about what he didn't say. He didn't admit to any wrongdoing. He didn't point to specific issues with any one client. Outside of mentioning general competition and outside pressure, he kept everything focused and controlled. He didn't mention Sauce Walka in his response. He didn't go back and forth publicly or break down every detail of that situation either. Instead, everything was handled strategically. His attorney focused on the legal side while Johnny handled the public side. And both approaches followed the same pattern: calm, steady, and backed by over 25 years of real work. Then there's another part of his history people started bringing up again. The incident at his Galleria store was one of the reasons he eventually moved locations. He had already spoken about that situation before, explaining how organized the group involved was, how serious it got, and how authorities, including federal investigators, looked into it at the time. He even mentioned how the scale of it led to a quieter investigation while details were being worked through. Now here's where things need to be separated: what's actually confirmed and what's just online talk. Because at this stage, a lot of what's spreading isn't backed by official reports or verified statements. There aren't public records supporting many of the extreme claims being pushed. So the real conversation has to stay honest, not based on viral posts, not based on dramatic headlines, but based on what can actually be confirmed. And here's what we do know. Kodak Black has been a real, long-time client of Johnny Dang. Their history goes back years with multiple collaborations that produced some of the most recognizable custom pieces in recent hip-hop culture. We also know that in late 2024, Kodak went on Instagram Live and removed the grill, saying it was too flashy. He laughed it off, stayed relaxed, and didn't show any frustration at all. That moment matters because it shows a completely different energy than what some online stories are trying to push. He made zero accusations and kept calling Johnny Dang the king of bling. That energy never changed. We also know that in May 2025, Johnny Dang personally flew out to Miami to deliver a fresh set of custom Skittles grills to Kodak. That collab got positive coverage from Complex, and the culture was rocking with it heavy. No tension, no issues attached. And then in 2026, when the whole Sauce Walka situation and the wave of online stories started spreading, Kodak Black stayed completely silent. No posts, no statements, no complaints, no appearances, no indirect comments, nothing. His name only got tied into the situation because content creators pulled old, unrelated clips, added misleading narration, and built dramatic titles around something that never actually happened.
That whole store damage storyline didn't come from a real moment. It came from edits, pieced together using real footage, real history, and real relationships, but flipped into something else. And this isn't just about Johnny Dang or Kodak Black. The way this played out shows how fast things can get twisted when people have the tools to remix content and push it to millions. Now, to keep it real, Sauce Walka's original statements were genuine from his perspective. The frustration he expressed was real to him. The money he spent was real. The situation he described clearly meant something to him, and he chose to speak on it publicly. But everything that came after that is where things start separating. The stories about major raids, arrests, and large-scale investigations, those were part of the online narrative that grew afterward, not confirmed facts directly tied to his original claims. One side of this situation is something that will play out over time through business moves, possible legal steps, and how the culture interprets everything that's been said. That part of the story is real and still unfolding. The claims around diamond quality are serious enough to deserve proper attention. Real reporting, real fact-checking, and real accountability if solid evidence ever supports those concerns. But the story about Kodak Black damaging Johnny Dang's store over jewelry issues, that's a different conversation. There's no footage, no official reports, no statements, nothing showing that kind of situation ever happened. What does exist is something completely different, a 25-year connection between a jeweler and one of his most recognizable clients. And based on the most recent real interactions we've seen, that relationship was still positive, still collaborative, and still being celebrated. Two people who built value together through real business moves and never showed clear signs of anything changing. Meanwhile, the internet took pieces of Sauce Walka's claims and built a much bigger story around it. And Kodak Black's name got pulled in for one simple reason. His name carries weight, and adding it made the narrative spread even faster. And that's really what this whole situation comes down to: how fast a story can grow once it hits the internet, and how quickly it can shift from facts into something much bigger. Because once a narrative starts moving, it doesn't need proof to keep going. It just needs attention. And in this case, attention was everywhere. Names like Johnny Dang, Kodak Black, and Sauce Walka already carry influence, so when all three get mentioned in the same conversation, it's almost guaranteed to take off. But here's the part people can't ignore. Not every viral story is built on full information. Sometimes it's pieces of truth mixed with assumptions, edits, and timing. And if you don't slow down and look at what's actually confirmed, it's easy to get caught up in something that sounds real but isn't fully there. That's exactly what happened here. One situation turned into multiple narratives, one statement turned into a wave of content, and one name after another got pulled into the spotlight. Now everything is being watched closely. People are paying attention to what happens next, what gets proven, and what fades over time. Because in the end, the difference between perception and reality always shows itself, just not always right away. And because old footage can be flipped to look brand new with the right edits and a wild title, the truth ends up getting buried. The reality is way quieter, way less dramatic, and honestly, not as exciting for the people pushing these stories. Because at the end of the day, Johnny Dang is still standing, his business is still active, nothing is shut down. His legal team is already looking into the most extreme false claims, and Kodak Black, the name that got placed right in the middle of a story about store damage that never actually happened, has stayed completely silent through all of it, not one word. So now the real question is this: why is this narrative spreading so fast? And is the connection between Kodak Black and Johnny Dang still as solid as it's always looked from the outside? What do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap in for more breakdowns like this.